welcome everyone. First question, Deutsch oder Englisch? English, okay. English, okay. I thought I can speak in German this time, but it's fine, so let's try in English. So, welcome to my talk. Shortly to myself, okay, let's try if this is working. Yeah, it's working. So, my name is Engin Diri. I'm working at a customer experience architect at Pulumi. I like to do all this stuff, cloud transformation and so on and so on. I also worked before for the Schwarz-Gruppe, so I'm also experienced in some enterprise stuff. And I like to do all this stuff around continuous. So I introduced at the Schwarz-Gruppe Jenkins. So that was really, really nice. And I was the dude you kept on calling when the pipeline did not work. But I'm not going to talk about my pain of the past. I would like to talk, as mentioned, about GitOps Promotion Tools. So first of all, GitOps, yeah. So that's the thing we love. So I'm not going to talk about GitOps. I'm a huge fan of GitOps. Everybody should maybe heard GitOps and 2025, so it should be there. So let's make a quick reminder, what are the GitOps principles? It's important to get the talk later on. So this is always the part where I try to be more interactive with the audience because everybody keep on complaining like, hey, it felt like being back in school and so on. So my question would be now to you folks, and I'm going to run around and to ask you, what are the GitOps principles? Please don't. Okay. That happens every time. So every time people are like, oh no, I paid to be here. I'm not here to answer questions, and you have to entertain me. Okay, so let's go through some of the GitOps principles. First of all, it has to be declarative. And again, maybe I made it not clear at the beginning. When I talk about GitOps, it's always in the context of Kubernetes. So it has to be declarative. And of course, it should be versioned and immutable. And I was part of the GitOps working group in the beginning, and there was a big fight because with the name Git, there are also other version control systems and so on and so on. So they somehow settled down to say it has to be versioned, doesn't need to be Git, it could also be something else, and it has to be immutable. And another important part is pulled automatically. That's something to say, okay, we're not going to push any declarations on our cluster. We let the cluster or clusters get the informations out of the system where we declared everything. And last but not least, it has to be continuous reconciled. So that's some things. Happy also to get input from you folks, but as nobody said anything before, I'm going to keep it with this point. So yeah, that's it. We got the GitOps principles, so we start the typical guestbook example. We declare our Helm chart or something like this. And then we point to our Argo CD and let Argo CD roll out the application we would like to deploy. And then, yeah, we are so happy. Look, mom, I did this, you know. And then we go to our 360 end of annual review talk and say, hey, I implemented GitOps. And then, yeah, we can also call it a day and say, yeah, that's my life. But here comes the point. There's always this person, this like, actually, you know, always like, oh man. Okay, I'm sure everybody has now a picture of this person from their own company who is extremely, knows everything better. So actually, what does the person has to say? So actually, if we take GitOps out of the box like we see it in plenty of tutorials, we may only sync now to one stage. So that's one of the points. So yeah, maybe we synced only to the dev stage. But as we all know from real life, and now comes back again why I mentioned I worked for Wüstenrot and for Schwarz-Gruppe, for example, is there are many, many more stages we have to deliver. So the insurance company was really, really crazy at Schwarz. I think, Dominic, where are you? I don't know how many stages you had at Schwarz, because we also worked together at Schwarz, but we had probably, depending on the project, 5 or 6. So you have a pre, whatever, and it has to be delivered there. And most of the time the data was not really like in prod. So now comes the question where we're getting a little bit closer now to the whole topic is how do we promote now our applications, our workload beyond the dev stage? So how does it work? And here comes another thing. And this is something also from real life, because I mentioned also I worked with Jenkins, and then later we moved for Azure DevOps, which is based off the Team Foundation server and all this stuff. So that was really a question we had to answer, like how are we going to promote the stuff? And here comes the creative part, where you go to every company and everybody shows you something different. Like they create now some CI pipelines going on, kicking, hey, when I get a webhook from here, when Harbor or Artifactory gets a new container pushed, then maybe I use a notification, or something more crazy like, okay, we have some kind of flow going on, and then we merge branch and get the stuff together. So crazy stuff going on. And this is called generally unter CI Kung Fu. So everybody does something, and it's really, again, not saying it's a bad thing, because most of the time if it's work, it works, but it's maybe not the way we would like to continue on this end. So there begs the question to say, is there not a better way to promote infrastructure changes the GitOps way? And yes, spoiler, yes, that's the reason I'm here. I would like to show you this. But still, until now, with the tools establishing also in the way to better handle this subject of promoting, CI Kung Fu was a valid way to go. So what are the things now? We have to talk now about promotion patterns and have to say, okay, so let's see what are promotion patterns. So promotion patterns are different ways to implement stages, for example, testing, pre-prod and production, whatever, the GitOps way. And yes, the process is referred as promotion. And now we come to I keep on spoiling my own slides. So let's say about, okay, what are some ways to achieve this? So let me go back to my slide, to the last question. So how are we going to realize this? And there are now, thank God, some tools established around this, because people saw the need for this. So we have one tool I would like to talk to you is Kargo, made from the people from Acuity. We have the GitOps Promoter project, which comes from the Argo project directly. Then we have a not old, but a tool which is already known for a couple of years. It's called Telefonistika. It was used by, I think, by Wayfair, which is a bank. They created here. And of course, we have our DIY solution. Okay, so let's head over for Kargo. So the Kargo project, as you can see, it's now in version 1.6.1. It has a dedicated UI. We're going to see this because I would like to show you how they're going to handle the promotion process. It's completely GitOps principled. It follows the GitOps principles. It's very easy to do the promotions and also the rollback of the artifacts. And artifacts, as you can see, can be containers, can be Kubernetes manifest files, it can be Helm charts. Here comes an interesting part also. Kargo enables us also that we can use manual approval of the promotion, which is very useful for some companies who say we still need a human in the loop. We're not going to 100% automatically. So we have also a nice way to manually promote artifacts. And of course, it offers native integration into existing ecosystems, Helm, Customize, and so on. So that's very cool to check on this one. And I will show you also in action. And now there's a new project coming on because, folks see that there is the need for this. So the Argo Labs, the people around who participate in the whole Argo and Argo CD, Argo workflows and so on, they started now to create this GitOps Promoter. And here's an interesting way how they're going to do this. So again, the similar approach, they say, okay, we have a dedicated dry branch where our declarations lie in, the customized files, the Helm charts, and so on and so on. And what we now going to create is we create branches, dedicated branches, which will get the hydrated state of all the dry definitions get just pushed into this branch. And here comes one of the points, and I will go talk a little bit about this manifest hydration because it's very important. For a long time, and including myself, we highly advocated against using branches for stages. I can hear myself still, so former Engin is like, no, never use branches for your stages and so on. But now with the whole rendered manifest or manifest hydration approach, this is something which makes highly sense and like, okay, that's really clever. So GitOps Promoter builds on the whole hydration approach, and I will talk about this one. And yes, of course, you can choose which hydrators you want to use, Helm, customize, or maybe your auto-generated stuff. So before we head to the last tool, let's talk about what is manifest hydration, because I think this is something very interesting, and you may heard about this. So as I mentioned before, what is the problem here with GitOps? So sorry that I did not put them in single points, so you have to see now the wall of text. So when we started with GitOps, we said, hey, GitOps promised us clarity. We define our state and it pulls from it and it's very easy to understand. You can quickly come with this. But now we have the problem with all the tools we are using, for example, Helm or Customize, that we not really see the final result of the final YAML because it gets rendered in the GitOps engine, for example. So that makes it very difficult for people who maybe review something to say, okay, there is a change in the value file, there is a change in the customization YAML, but what does it mean? So when everything is rendered, is there maybe something inside the Helm chart and the property who could maybe lead to a problem? So most of the time you see the value and you're like, okay, YOLO, and then things go through. And then we see also the diffs, misconfigurations and so on. So this happens, this is a real problem. So what does the rendered manifest pattern does? So it's going to run Helm or Customize or whatever system you're using, JQTT or what the tools are. It runs the stuff and it's going to produce the fully rendered manifest. And it's going to take now this hydrated file. So think about like the sponges you get as a present on some of the booths, and then you get a full towel. So similar principle. So it's going to hydrate these files and going to create now a branch for it, a dedicated branch which contains now the rendered manifest inside. So now we can talk, this branch is the dev or the test branch. And now it can be consumed by Argo CD, Flux, or whatever GitOps engine. Is somebody using Fleet? I don't know. Can be consumed from them and then just applied to the cluster, or you could even hardcore kubectl apply this if you would like. So there is no extra logic. And now we have also get this abstraction gap. So I'm a huge fan of creating abstractions, but when we hydrate and render the abstraction out, we also risk diffuse the problem of abstractions and not understanding what's going on inside the abstraction, because now we created a human-readable hydrated manifest which can just be read by a human, read by a machine, which is very easy. And here comes the point now, which I have to say. If we're going to the pattern now and say branches are okay for stages, we should also not think anymore about the way we worked with GitOps, with short-living feature branches and merging the stuff and so on. We create a branch, but these branches never get merged into the main branch or something like this. So forget about the Git flows and everything we learned about this and say, okay, we just use a branch to define our state in the particular stage, but we're not going to do the classical Git flow style, making a merge request and tell them, hey, take the prod state, take the dev stage and make a pull request against the queue stage, or merge everything back to the main one. That's not the thing. Hence, this makes sense now. So before, when I was also advocating against the branch stuff, we still thought about they need to be someday merged back into the main, so this classical Git flow. And of course, then we got all the problems I highly advocated in the past and said, it's a nightmare. There will be merge errors, there will be rebasing issues, and all the troubles developers have to go through. So that's one of the things. And then again, I keep on spoiling my stuff. So the benefits, of course, now pull requests really displays the changes and speeding up the review and audits. And of course, in the time of AI and all the stuff you can think about and say, maybe I can do now some agentic stuff going on because I have some additional context for the review agent, and it's going to clear this. We create a history of cluster states, so we can also go back, roll back, we can do some compliance check. Troubleshooting, that's one of the benefits to say, okay, troubleshooting gets easier. We can see and compare the live resource against the repo, against the cluster. And yes, of course, we also created some kind of tool agnostic workflow, and that's also something very cool. So again, I wanted to give you this context about the rendered manifest, because in both examples of the Kargo and the GitOps Promoter, I'm going to use these approaches. So heading back to our solutions, so now we have Telefonistika. It was presented, I think, in Amsterdam many, many years ago. I liked it very much at this time. It goes to folder-based promotion, so there was the time, you remember, when you work with customize, creating your overlays and then saying, I'm going to patch the stuff and so on. Goes the same way. It's PR-driven, so everything, the tool highly advocates for the PR-driven approach. It has auto-merge, which is nice. Interestingly, it's infrastructure as code agnostic, so you can work with Terraform, Helm files, and so on. So it's not really dedicated here to our GitOps case, but you can use this. Interesting. Would I suggest this now? That's why I'm not pushing it so hard. Would I suggest this now and say, have a look into this if you don't have a promotion tool in place? I would say maybe not. Have a look. Maybe you like the way they do this stuff. Maybe you have also working with Terraform, Pulumi, or whatever, and say that makes also sense to run it for our infrastructure stuff. Have a look. And of course, last but not least, the DIY solution. So you do you, that's the easiest thing. So now, yeah, probably you have something with Jenkins going on and a lot of bash scripts, and if you may end up that you are stuck with it forever, and you will probably hate the solution and change the team or leave the company. That's, of course, that's a little bit Übertreibung, muss sein. But yeah, that's the DIY solution. So why I always not advocate for DIY solutions if you can avoid this, because a community, an open source tool has sometimes the benefits. Okay, with this said, let's have a look into our demo. And yeah, we have 10 minutes. So I'm going to stop this one. Let me... And I don't want to look like this, so that's why I'm going to mirror my screen. Okay, so let me start again. So Argo. So I linked the demo code in, so you will see the setup of this. Sorry, it's a little bit small, but somehow IntelliJ is not good in sizing up. So we have our infra folder, which defines a Pulumi program for DigitalOcean to deploy a cluster there. That's one part. The second part is I'm using the GitOps bridge pattern. That means I'm going to use also an infrastructure as code tool to deploy Argo CD in the minimal setup, and tell Argo CD then using the apps of app pattern, like, bro, look here, there you find everything installed. That's here with the declaration. So I'm going to install Argo CD via Argo CD but initially activate this via infrastructure as code. Independent if you're using Terraform, Pulumi, or some other tools, I just keep ignoring some of the things because I don't want that the CI system, if I run this, the drift detection tells me, hey, your value or your version changed. I'm like, that's okay. I just use it to ignite my GitOps process. But the real interesting stuff happens here with the base tools. I install all the tools necessary as a cluster add-on using application sets if I want to do fleet management, or here on a single cluster. I'm going to install the promote apps, the promote tools itself. And then most interestingly, the installation of the dedicated promote tool. So Kargo delivers a Helm chart. The GitOps Promoter has a single manifest file. So everything is supportable. So how does it look like? So I deployed now the Potato Head application. So we see we have one approach with the Promoter and one with Kargo Dev. So let's look in Kargo because it's a nice UI. So now we can see here now, this is my pipeline. I created here, so I put them all into one chain. I defined here a warehouse, so I can define warehouse and say, look at this Git repository, look at this container registry. If you will find something new, let me know about this. And then either I'm automatically promoting this or I'm using a manual approach. So let's have a look and say, okay, Mr. Potato Head. So where are you? Okay, so we go to the first. Let's go only for the dev stage for Mr. Potato Head, the Kargo way. And we head here and say, okay, so that's Mr. Potato Head. It has a nice head on it. So let's change. So now the dev team comes, our $1 million paid dev team, and create a new feature. In this case, we just flip here and say, hey, I have a new version, so I'm going to YOLO this on main also because it's my demo. And we can see now there's a new commit, so let's also I didn't configure any webhooks because it's a pain for a demo, so I'm just clicking here on the refresh button. You see it detected because I point, because my Helm chart lies in a Git repository and not in an OCI or a dedicated Helm repository. It's going to check, it sees a new commit, so that's fine. I see the message here. Cool. So let's promote this. As I mentioned before, human in the loop or automatically. Now I can select, I see every stage is currently on this dedicated package, but I would like to have the new stuff going on, and let's promote this. And please don't make an issue with, so please, 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 please. So that's fine. Let's have a look in our Kargo dev. We should see also, hopefully, why do you? Why he skipped this one here? Ah, pain. The pain is real. Ah, okay. So let's assume dev is fine, and let's assume it's completely fine. But let's promote the next stage because why not? So you see demos. I think somebody told me, like, Engin, you're doing live demos, you never should do this. So let's go to our QS stage. So we have Potato Head in QS still with the head. So let's promote this and hope that my commit is working. Yeah, now he git committed into this, and let's refresh our QS stage. Yeah, you see there is a change. I don't know why he skipped the git commit. I have to have a look on this one. But whatever setting we set, you can also define some metric endpoints to it. So it will also detect the metric endpoint and can also roll back automatically, Datadog or whatever you have in place. And after a short while, we should also see the load balancer for the QS should be assigned, and QS, where is it? Oh, sorry, what is this Greek symbol doing here? Okay. And it should have the latest version, which is still the same head. I don't know what's going on. Probably 01 is still the captain's head. I should make it to 2. Okay, doesn't matter. It get the point. I mean, I need to check which head is 02 or 01 to find out that it's, but maybe it could be also that it's cached, I don't know. It's still the same. Okay, so let's have a look how the GitOps Promoter works, because this is also interesting now. So you see the chain of Kargo, we have 3 minutes left. I can now promote this here to this stage and say, where is it? Instantly promote, and it will make the same thing. Again, manually or automatically. In my case, it's all automatic. And we see the latest stuff here, got the new version. If there would be something meaningful with the head, it would also change the head. So let's have a look how the GitOps Promoter work. So when we have a look in the dev stage of the GitOps Promoter, we see now he hydrated the next stage to a new branch called dev-next. And this goes for all the stages. So if I had a hook here or a meaningful refresh time, you would see this instantly. I did not need to press this. So, and let's have a look into our code now. So if we have a look into the branches, it's already spoiling the stuff. So it created now dedicated branches, and I will show you why the dev one is automatically merged. So we see the dev branch detected the changes. We see that QS is also automatically branched, which is also very, very nice. Let's help the system to reconcile also on dev and QS. So refresh, refresh. You see there is a change because it pointed now to a dedicated, but prod didn't change. Prod still goes to the environment qprod. So what did I do? So promotion strategies. So I defined a promotion strategy. So I say, hey, auto-merge in dev, auto-merge in QS, because that's all fine. But for the prod, we still have somebody, like a product owner or something like this, who needs to approve this. So how does it look then? We go into a pull request, and we see now, hey, there's a pull request created from our GitOps Promoter, and I need to approve this. So let's have a look what changed. I can see here the file changed. I see, yeah, Mr. Potato Head has now the value 2 and not 1. I may saw that the earlier stage worked completely fine, but now I can either announce downtime or just, again, approve this one. So let's go to our approval and say, yep, that's completely fine. Squash the stuff. And again, if you had a webhook or time to wait, you would see that this one is also delivering. And let's have a look which head is now selected. So we go to a GitOps Promoter, to the prod stage, and hopefully, yeah, I think the 02 is still the captain's head. I need to check this stuff, but doesn't change from the way the stuff worked. So we saw now that we used the hydrated approach. We have one approach where we have a nice UI with Kargo and can quickly see what's going on, promote, and so on. We have another approach here with the GitOps Promoter, which embedded in the Argo UI, doesn't have a dedicated UI. Maybe there will be one in the future. The project is very young, so Kargo is 1.61, and GitOps Promoter is something like 0, so it's not really GA. And if we head back to our slides, where is it? Wow, stupid slideshow. So that worked fine. Any Q&As? So maybe we have a minute for Q&As. Any questions? Oh, sorry. For me, most importantly, if even though a question, just go back, give it a try. If this is missing in your stack, for example, have a look what works better. You have two choices. Which one is Kargo? Both are open source. You don't need to pay anything, and have a look and see what fits your needs. But both of them use the hydrator pattern. GitOps Promoter have it more prominently because it's in-baked into the Argo CD, and there you have to activate the alpha feature of hydration, so you not get this out of the box. And Kargo does the hydration process as part of their steps. And yeah, with this said, wait, no questions and answer. Thank you. I'm going to run, so thank you.